Hey folks, Kilt-Man here. Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, as if we needed any more warning that Halloween was fast approaching. Oh, time of the year, folks. There is a storm about to hit Kilt Mansion in the next hour or so. Storm Agnes has already laid waste to Northern Ireland. It's currently battering the hell out of the Isle of Man, and it's making a beeline directly for here. The winds are picking up, the leaves are rustling, the branches are all in disarray. It's autumn, folks. Halloween is coming. And to go alongside that, we've got some Halloween franchise news. Now, I know. If you guys are halfway into the Halloween franchise in any way, shape or form, you already know this. And even if you're only slightly interested in it, you always suspected that even after Halloween ended in 2022 with the Blumhouse Shithouse and DGG trilogy or travesty, the Shithouse travesty, there's loads who are going like, oh, I'm not watching this, unsubscribe, don't like, unlike, like, no. Tough. I've made no secret about this. I liked the Halloween 2018 sort of reboot, the revamp. I liked it except for that disastrous thing with Sartain and DGG's inept direction and complete lack of suspense. But I did enjoy that movie. I then despised Halloween Kills and absolutely loathed Halloween Ends. There you go. So I've put my stall out straight away. I've pegged my tent. Now, this dog doth hunt. But Halloween, I still love Michael Myers. And I love the fact that Blumhouse and DGG did put Michael Myers back on the genre map and brought in a whole new bunch of fans who are looking at the older movies, and which the whole franchise is stricken with really naff movies, let's be honest. I'm a massive lover of Halloween, the original, the greatest independent horror movie ever made, although Night of the Living Dead would like to jump up and say, hang on, what about me? And Texas Chainsaw Massacre would also like to go, hang on. But Halloween is a masterpiece. I love Halloween 2. The original Halloween 2 from 1981, Rick Rosenthal. And I don't like the whole sister, brother, sibling thing. I've talked about this a lot, but I think the first two movies, having grown up with them anyway, they fit together. It's the same night, apart from the shoddy wig that Jamie Lee Curtis is wearing, the two films fit together, hand in glove. A different face in the mask, which distorts it. But as I've always said, I prefer the look of Michael Myers in Halloween 2. Oh, I know. How much blasphemy can this guy come out with? I like Dick Warlock playing the Shape. I love Nick Castle playing the Shape. But there's something about the more disheveled mask in Halloween 2 which makes him more menacing. And in fact, you see his eyes a lot more as well. But a more demonic, maniacal glint to them. And it's bloodier, of course. But anyway, I've talked about this a lot. And I'm a massive fan of Halloween 3. Then you get Halloween 4, and I like Halloween 4 a lot. And then you get the whole shit show with the Thorn cult and all that. And then you get H2O, which is just a Scream revamp, and it's god awful. And then you get, if it couldn't sink any lower, then you get Halloween Resurrection. I like the Rob Zombie movies because they are radically different. They're really brutal and dark and nihilistic, and they're grim in every shape and form. Everyone's unlikable, and yet they have something. If you're going to reboot an established franchise and characters, you need to do something different. Don't just stomp over or stalk and slash over the same ground again and again and again. You can do that with the likes of Friday the 13th. You can do that. We all know about Jason's background. You don't need any sort of backstory to, the irony, because there is a TV show, Crystal Lake, which comes into what I'm going to talk about, which is going to detail all of that. And that's all well and good, because that's taking it on a different tangent altogether. But the Friday the 13th movies ad infinitum, you just want to see teens getting butchered. You want to see a bit of tits and ass and a bit of blood. That's all you're going for. And a menacing Jason hulking and stalking after people. That's what you want. You don't need any convoluted backstories or, highfalutin character play. Revelations. You don't need any of that. That's not what you've come to it for. And Halloween really should have been, well, it should have ended at Halloween, the first one, 78. Carpenter didn't want to go any further. The plans were, after it was called the Babysitter Murders, well, let's change it. Let's maybe set it on Halloween. Well, if we set it on Halloween, let's call it Halloween. And then it brings in the whole supernatural, the spooky ookiness. And the rest is history. Big success. Well, let's do some more. Mustafa Akkad, let's do another one. So Carpenter didn't want to do another one. He said, well, if we do a Halloween franchise, let's do an anthology. So maybe not even every Halloween, but every other Halloween or every few years, we'll do a movie set on Halloween. Not in Haddonfield, not with Michael Myers, just different stories. But he got shoehorned into doing the script for Halloween 2. So he thought, well, I'm going to kill this off because I don't want to, this is not what I wanted to do at all. I don't want to do a sequel. So I'll do something which is going to really put it in its grave. I'm going to kill off Michael Myers. Finally. Kaboom! This time, Michael. And, but I'm going to do something ridiculous which no one's going to like. Let's make Laurie Strode his sister. He was after it all the time, which is ludicrous, of course. But it did give a hook for that movie. And of course, what had Carpenter just seen? He'd just seen Darth Vader admitting to Luke Skywalker that, no, Luke, sexual feelings, you know it to be true. I am your father, and all this. So he did his own horror twist on it, which was, in a way, was genius. But it was just put that final stake through the heart of Michael Myers and the whole Haddonfield, Myers-Strode conflict. Didn't quite work out that way, obviously. Do more. So then he did what they really wanted to do, which is these guys and Colonel Cochrane and the Silver Shamrock and little chips of stone from the big master stone from Stonehenge. We had a time getting it here. You wouldn't believe how we did it. Still one of my favourite bits of exposition, which gives nothing away and yet tantalises so much. So, a Halloween story set on Halloween with an apocalyptic conclusion, but a great slew of ideas. We all know everyone turned their backs on it because there's no Michael Myers. We know all this, but the film is now, I loved it at the time as well, massively loved the movie at the time, and I really sing its praises a lot. And still think it stands the test of time. It's a wonderful movie. And it gained a cult following on home video, and now it has the recognition that it deserves. But that was the idea. Halloween movies set on Halloween, but with it'd be Halloween, blah 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 blah. Halloween, the turnips, turn evil, whatever. It'd be just different stories set in different towns, different cities, maybe different time periods. That's what it would have been, and it could have been phenomenal. Well, it didn't turn out that way. The massive lack of success that Halloween 3 had at the box office, and then taking a while to get a groundswell of public opinion and fan appeal. Suddenly you get a return to Michael Myers, as in Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. And then you get the whole Thorn bullshittery that takes place, and the complete mess. Then you get the Rob Zombie ones, and then you get the Blumhouse stuff. So it's a franchise that refuses to die. But it's unlike Jason, where you only go into it for one thing. All the makers, writers, directors, producers of the ensuing franchise try to bring something new, to bring Michael Myers above the level of the just pure Cro-Magnon lumbering brute that is Jason, to make him somewhat more different. And you get this whole ridiculous thing of no, he's not supernatural, but there's something about him. Oh God. I'm not naming names, but there are certain people over YouTube who use that, and in fact David Gordon Green used that as well. But there's something about him. Yes, he's fucking supernatural. He gets shot all the time, stabbed, set on fire, hit by trucks and cars, and pickaxed, and also everything's happened to him, but he doesn't die. But there's something about him. Yes, he's fucking supernatural. He's possessed by an evil force. The original novelization, I've talked about it a lot, explained it so well. It's a spirit reenacting a crime, which the Druids wrought revenge upon the person that committed the crime, scattered his ashes to the winds. They ripped him apart and then burnt all his bits and bobs. And he was cursed to relive his crime forever and ever and ever. That isn't the greatest sort of revenge or curse, because, so hang on, he committed that vile murder, a double murder, and then you curse him to go and relive that murder again and again and again throughout time. So you're cursing other innocent people to be killed. I mean, there's a bit of a loophole there, but it is what it is. But the idea was that the body could take so much damage until the body was unable to work anymore, unable to function, and then the evil spirit, the curse spirit, would go and find somebody else. It is hinted at in the first Halloween as well, and in subsequent versions. The Thorn cult thing kind of brings it in, but in a very clumsy, cack-handed manner. So we're better off without that. The Rob Zombie stuff takes it as a realistic story. Someone who's completely brutalized and assaulted and assailed throughout his childhood, and then fights back against bullies and gets put in a mental asylum, and then learns how to be even more evil, mask making and seeing depravity taking place in his own cell. Doesn't quite tell you where this little lad, this little tow-headed guy, becomes a hulking, almost 7-foot brute, muscle-bound in the body of Tyler Mane. Doesn't quite explain that, but we all know that criminals go into prisons as little puny guys who sold drugs on the streets. Little puny guys used a knife. Then they go into prisons and they've got access to a gym and more drugs, steroids, and then they come out absolute fucking roidal, rampaging rhinos. Yeah, the prison system. Brilliant stuff. So maybe that explains Tyler Mane. I don't know, the size and stature of him. But I like the Rob Zombie movies. Then you get the Blumhouse stuff, which I've been down this road a million times. I'll just sum it up quite succinctly. There's no way they had a trilogy planned. They did not expect the success that 2018 had. And then quickly, it was going to be a trilogy anyway. And we're going to film 2 and 3 back to back. COVID, lots of things happened. They didn't know where the hell they were going with it. And that trilogy is a complete damp squib. An interesting first one, ditching all the other sequels, a direct sequel to the first one. Laurie Strode's now a fucking survivalist extraordinaire. She's Sarah Connor, waiting 40 years for... Oh God, no. I said I'd do it succinctly. I'll endeavour to try. And then, well, you get a nice payoff to 2018, apart from the Sartain stuff. And then you get Halloween Kills. If you're a gorehound, fine. That was great. That's what you wanted. But it didn't make one lick of sense. And Evil Dies Tonight. And it was shit. Big John, Little John. Fuck off. It was god awful. Absolutely awful. And then you completely just wrecked all the impetus and momentum of that with Halloween Ends. We're trying to do something different. I applaud that. And when I first watched Halloween Ends, I kind of enjoyed... Michael Myers is on the sidelines completely. He's older, he's living in a sewer, he's wrecked. He's what the evil spirit knows the body's dying. The thing is, we're making that shit up because the film doesn't tell you that. But if you're going along with the idea that it's an evil spirit inside him, looking for someone else to pass the evil onto, and you get Corey, and Jesus, it's wretched. And then the final fight with Laurie, and then Laurie's written their memoirs, and everyone's happy. The evil has left Haddonfield, because evil is infectious. But evil did die that night. No, they boxed themselves into a corner and had no idea how to get out of it. It's a bit of Lost A bit of J.J. Abrams, that sort of style there. Didn't have a fucking clue where to go. Once you started the ball rolling, did not know how to stop that ball with a satisfying conclusion. So you got that trilogy. And if you loved it, fine. So, but Haddonfield, no, Halloween didn't end back in 2022 because now Malek Akkad, Mustafa's son, who owns the rights to Halloween and all that, and Miramax, and what's Akkad's Trankas International Films, they own the rights to Halloween franchise. Blumhouse got given, access to make their trilogy, but now because that trilogy was a money maker, well, you can't kill the Boogeyman, so they want to bring him back again, or they want to bring the Halloween franchise back. So you've got Malek Akkad is now hawking around Hollywood the Halloween rights, but they and Universal are going to retain the film rights, although other studios can come in and maybe make a movie, but with their backing, and they'll be involved in it too. But they actually are genuinely trying to sell off the television rights to it. And you've got two big hitters at the moment. Miramax themselves want to do it as their own sort of thing. And A24 want to do it. That's interesting, isn't it? A24. Where's it? Midsummer, the bitch. And of course, it's just come out as well. Oh god. The Green Knight, which I absolutely loved. A24 make sort of avant-garde, off-kilter, left field, surrealistic movies. Them taking on a Halloween movie. That's interesting. Because A24 have actually got, as I said before about the Camp Crystal Lake, or just Crystal Lake it's called, the prequel series, the TV series, airing on Peacock, I think this October, if someone's going to correct me on that. I'm sure it's this October, telling the story of Jason and his mother, who is the first killer at Crystal Lake. A24 have got that, so they're doing that with, on Peacock, which is owned by Universal, so they're doing that already. So A24's already got one hell of a walloping bit of kudos, serial killer kudos. So yeah, it isn't too far-fetched to see them getting the Halloween franchise as well. And I'd be intrigued by that. Despite what I've said about Blumhouse and that DGG trilogy. And like, oh God, what? Michael Myers coming back again. What are you going to do? Tread the same old ground? Or are we going to have another soft reboot, a hard reboot, a sequel, sidequel, prequel? What are you? Oh, we've seen it all before. We all know who Michael Myers is. Just fucking start. If you're going to do Michael Myers, let's just have him killing a bunch of people. New characters. No Strodes. No fucking Strodes. I am sick of the Strodes. Laurie, one of the greatest final girls ever in history. But I'm sick of you. I don't. Even someone else. Oh, we could have someone playing the young Laurie. Oh, we've seen it all. I don't want no more Laurie Strode. I'm fucking sick of the bitch. So, with that in mind, you could do Michael again and have Michael just on a rampage, just taking out other people. Rewrite it. Who cares? You've got so many different timelines now. No one cares. Apart from the real nerdy bastards who go, oh, it doesn't fit in with that one, and then Rob Zombie, but no, they don't fucking fit anyway. They're just new scripts and people trying to bolt things together. Don't worry about it. Just watch a Stalker / movie. But has it got to be a Stalker / movie? No one said it's Michael Myers. It's the Halloween franchise, the Halloween brand, the Halloween name. And Halloween itself is such a huge umbrella that it brings in the supernatural, as I said before. It brings in things like this. Very imaginative, very innovative, very creative. You could have an anthology of movies, Halloween, again with a different, sort of subtitle. And different characters, different towns, different countries. I would love to see a Halloween movie set in the British Isles, where the fucking customs of Halloween, Samhain, or Samhain, as some people stupidly pronounce it, the festival of the dead and all that, you know, the old druidic Celtic festival, started here, Ireland, Scotland, the north of England, and a bit of Scandinavia. It's from round here. Why is it got to be fucking small town Illinois? Why is it got to be Haddonfield? Set one here. Do them in different places. Do one in fucking Namibia. Do one in Australia. Do one in Brazil. Do them all over the place and have different horrific stories told around the Halloween phenomenon, the Halloween festival, and what it means to different people. And have different demons and different psychos, just different events, different phenomena taking place. It hasn't got to be just relentless William Shatner mask again. Oh God, we've seen that, we've done it. I don't mind seeing Michael Myers come back again. I'll be honest right now, I don't mind seeing it, but you've got to go back to what Carpenter did, and Carpenter was a master of suspense, visuals, visual poetry, visual, almost surreal suspense. This is where A24 could come in. The way that Carpenter handled the face, the mask just coming up from the shadows, and just carrying bodies through, you know, the everyday mundane sort of suburban street, and the bizarreness of that, the juxtaposition of jack-o'-lanterns and kids running around, you know, all the innocence of Halloween with mass murder taking place. But the suspense, you don't even need the gore. I like the gore, I love the gore. The first one, for all of its lack of gore, is hyper violent. You know, poor Bob getting, I mean, how big's that fucking knife? Is it one of those Predator things from Predator 2 where it extends and becomes like 30 foot long? Because to impale a guy who's over 6 foot anyway and lift him up and have the butcher knife go through him and then penetrate into the cupboard or the door behind him and still hold his body up, all the twitchy toes and all that. It's genius, isn't it? But it doesn't matter because you know this is not a man, as Dr. Sam Loomis keeps telling everybody. So I don't mind seeing Michael come back again, but you've got to bring back the artistry of the Stalk and Slash. Jason just handles the bloodletting, and let him. He's good in it. Michael was always something a bit different, a bit more arty-farty. He'd arrange the bodies. He'd play tricks. He'd put the fucking the sheet over his head and put the glasses on. You know, for fuck's sake. Michael Myers was a trickster. Halloween is about pranks and about tricks, and Michael Myers in the first one definitely does that. I'll be honest, he doesn't do it in the second movie at all. It's just a killing machine. Although he has a bit of fun doing it as well, and takes his time as well. But in the first one, lifting tombstones up and all that, and arranging bodies, he's having a ball doing it. So I don't mind seeing him come back again. I saw someone write this on a forum somewhere about all this. Why don't we have the untold chapter of Michael Myers once he's escaped from Smith's Grove and his drive back to Haddonfield where he kills the mechanic and gets his overalls? And I thought, when I first read that, I thought, hey, yeah, that's a good idea. And then I thought, hang on a minute. We've just had the last voyage of the Demeter. And the chapter from Bram Stoker's Dracula about the ship, the Demeter, and Dracula on board, killing all the crew. And the last guy, the captain, goes mad and lashes himself to the wheel. You know, I've reviewed the movie as well. And I didn't think much of it at all, to be honest. And in the end, in essence, you don't need it because your own imagination is going to work better than showing and telling everything. This is the thing that happens with so many movies now. You've got to give a backstory to everybody. You've got to tell all these origin stories. And even when you've got acknowledged, you know, characters like Batman or Spider-Man, they can't resist telling you their fucking origins every bloody time. We know who they are. We know why they are. We know what we know why they do what they do. Why have you got to tell us again? It's just ridiculous. Oh, I want to have a go at it. I want to film Bruce Wayne's mum and dad getting killed. I want to do my spin on it. No, we, the punters, don't need it. We know it all. So you don't need to see. I mean, I think they were saying like, and maybe Michael Myers harasses another driver, on the road, and we have a duel like Steven Spielberg's duel, Dennis Weaver and the truck. You have this sort of like, oh, again, he didn't mention this, but I'm just now thinking The Hitcher, C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer in The Hitcher, Michael Myers as, John Ryder, The Hitcher himself. You could have that. Oh God, I'm talking myself into it now. You could actually have that story. But then again, why? Because we know where it ends up. He ends up in Haddonfield and we know what happens. So there's no real... Or would this other person get away? Would other people be killed during this drive? How far is it? Someone out there who knows all the facts and figures, which I once thought I knew everything about Halloween. How far away is there Smith's Grove from Haddonfield? He can't even drive a car. Well, maybe someone around here gave him lessons. Yeah. That's from the extended bit, of course. Like, he was doing very well last night. So, you can have a lot more Halloween stories. You don't necessarily have to have Michael Myers. Although, the temptation for any filmmaker is to do that. And if you're going to do that, then at least have the courage to build up the suspense. And look, you don't even need great background stories to all the characters. It's the essence of Halloween, the first one, is Halloween night itself and the Boogeyman. And a guy that just cannot be stopped, cannot be killed. It's done. It was meant to have ended. It got dragged over to Halloween 2, and then they resurrected it and made him limp through various other bloody movies and timelines. And, it's just the law of diminishing returns as far as I'm concerned. But I wouldn't mind seeing Michael go back to his roots, where he only kills maybe 2 or 3 people. That's it. But it's the stalk and the menace that's there and the atmosphere. Even when he's not on screen, you want to feel his presence. But that's if you're going to do that. And you could do that, and also in between, if you bring it an anthology sort of style, you could have other movies in between. And you could keep it going forever. Just every other year, you've got, hopefully every year, you get a Halloween movie, but with a different idea, a different story, but under that Halloween umbrella. But let's get out of Haddonfield, for God's sake. Sick of Haddonfield. No one would live there now anyway, Christ almighty. When I watch a Halloween film, it's like going home because I feel like I live in Haddonfield. Fuck off. You fucking sap twat. I've spoken to people that say that exact thing. Oh, it's home to me. I know all that. No, you don't. You don't. And you're easily pleased. You're quite happy with the same story again and again and again. Well, you've got that with Friday the 13th, and it works for that. And it's been proven it does not work for Michael Myers because it becomes boring. It becomes samey. But they can't resist trying to bring in or shoehorn in some other stories, some other occult or whatever, and like make it realistic. It just go back to what made Halloween what it was. If you've got to do it, if you've got no other choice. But personally, I want you to go off in different directions and do the anthology thing, which was Carpenter's idea right from the word go. Well, once he had the success of the Babysitter Murders / Halloween. Now, hang on, we could do this again, but hang on, you want to do more, but Michael's dead. Well, that story's finished. I mean, he isn't dead. He gets up, and you hear the breathing all over the house and all over Haddonfield. Perfect ending. Carpenter. Several perfect endings to movies which leave you thinking Halloween is one, of course, because it's like he's still there, and like, who was the Boogeyman? As a matter of fact, it was. And then it's just got like a bloody patch of crushed grass on the lawn, and Loomis is like, and then Laurie's whimpering. Oh, it's genius. And then he just goes to all the shadowy places where he's suddenly loomed up Loomis up out the shadows, and you hear his breathing over the top, and then the theme kicks in. Genius. And of course, The Thing. Well, people don't like the ending to The Thing. I think it's the greatest ending in genre cinema, if not the greatest ending of all. I've talked about it a lot. I'm not going to go into The Thing now because we'll be here all bloody night. We'll be here till next Halloween, and but that is one of the greatest endings because it lets you think. But a lot of audiences, and sadly, I point my finger at American audiences because Brit audiences love the idea of ambiguous, not spoon-fed conclusions. Whereas all your multiplex goers in America, from what I can gather, and I go on forums, I know a lot of Americans, and I've been to cinemas in America as well, and oh, Jesus Christ. And but they need to be told everything. If they don't get told it, they're going to shout at the screen. They're going to, and then tell everyone, I think that, just fuck off. Sit back, let the film give you its message and let you delineate that and decode it for yourself in your own imagination, because that's what the filmmaker wants you to do. It hasn't been done by mistake. So, we've gone round the houses again, and I don't mean the houses of Haddonfield. For all those who, I know every house in Haddonfield. What makes me laugh is that the fact that this is going to happen. I mean, there's no shock. Of course we're going to bring it back. It's a money-making franchise. Of course it was going to come back for more and more and more. But there's tons of people on YouTube especially, and certain sites as well, like their bread and butter is Halloween. And I've seen some of these people, and like, God, they've been scraping the barrel for stuff since Halloween ended. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? And oh God, it's like, I'm going to talk about Halloween. Please, God. And they've been praying to the big pumpkin in the sky. Oh, please, Mr. Samhain, please can you bring Michael Myers back? Can you just bring a Halloween franchise back? I need to make some money. I need to monetize something on YouTube. And now they're fucking made up, aren't they? Oh, yes, you can talk about this. Oh, no, don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. They love it. Of course they love it. There's plenty of things I love. I try to talk about a massive range of different stuff on the channel. Halloween is a very small part of it. But I do love Michael Myers. I do love the franchise. It's had its missteps, but I wish it well. This is the thing. This is the... I'm Gemini, so I'm on both sides. I'm Jekyll and Hyde. I can't stand a lot of it, but I love so much more of it. And I still want to see more of it. But I want it done right. So in other words, David Gordon Green, fuck off. Keep your hands off it. Don't bring him back. The temptation would be to do that. If the Exorcist trilogy... God, why? If the Exorcist trilogy is a success, they're going to want him back for this, aren't they? Of course they are. But hopefully he might be done with the whole thing now. Like, oh, look, I'm sick of this now. I want to do my The Thing trilogy, or my Big Trouble in Little China trilogy, or my Snake Plissken trilogy. Seriously. I've just wound myself up with that. If that ever happens, yeah, David Gordon Green. Anyway, folks, so that's the news. I promised people I'd talk about it, and there I have. I've made my point very clear. I'd rather the franchise goes out or carries on with an anthology style. You could have Michael Myers popping in and out of it as the years go by. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. But I'd like to see just different ideas, as imaginative and as different as Season of the Witch, in different countries, in different cities, in different time periods, set around Halloween, but under that collective brand banner of the Halloween franchise. What's wrong with that? You're making different movies, but you've got that common denominator. You've got the multiplexes, and the fanboys, oh, we just want Michael Myers to do the same fucking thing over and over and over again. I've already said you've got Friday the 13th for that. You've got innumerable Stalker slash movies from the 80s and 90s. You've got Scream is going on and on and on. And I'm not a fan of Scream. I like the first one. I think it's amazing and very clever. But then the ones that came afterwards, it's just, you really aren't doing anything different. Oh yes, you've got different motives and different stuff. I know, they try to be clever. They really aren't at all, and I'm not a fan. And you've got other franchises, Urban Legend, I know what you did last summer, I know what you're going to do next Easter. You know, I don't give a fuck what you did last Christmas. Yeah, we got all of those fucking things as well. But they're all just the same sort of thing. It's a whodunit. At least with the Michael Myers, you know who's doing it. So what the other films have got in their favour is you've got an element of mystery. Friday the 13th and Halloween with Michael Myers, you know what's happening, you know who's doing it, you've seen him do it, and there's absolutely no mystery. You also know that they can't die. So there's no real, like, you know, satisfying denouement, you know. Oh yeah, they might have killed him this time. He's on fire, he's been hit by a truck, he's fallen down a well, or whatever. You've got chains all over him, you know. They put him in an iceberg and dropped him in the fucking polar regions. But you know the next one he's going to come back. Oh God. Folks, I've said enough. Ah dear. But let me know, comment below, and where do you think it's going to go? It's happening regardless, whether you want it or you don't. And I do want to see more. I know I sound like massively down on it. Actually, I don't think I did sound down on it. There's a huge element of it I don't like, and that's what Blumhouse did. But take that away, and you can do it in different ways. There's always a different avenue to explore, but just don't be afraid to explore that. Make your films different. I long for a sort of a new renaissance in horror movies where you've got audiences just, I want to see something different, something completely out the blue, something that I haven't seen before. A24 does that. They do make films which are avant-garde and different, challenging, sometimes a bit awkward, sometimes a bit, you know, they went the wrong direction with that, but at least they're going somewhere different and somewhere that you might not have anticipated. And I like that about them. So their involvement in this and their drive to go and get hold of this actually could be a really good thing. So keep your fingers crossed that Halloween lives long and does prosper, and that we do get something different, something, you know, varied. Don't keep flogging the Myers horse again and again and again. Right, I've said my piece. So folks, in the meantime, in this ever boiler-suited William Shatner masked in-between time, please keep it Kilted, keep it Celtic. And I am indeed going to see you all Raiders! The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. Cheers, y'all. Oh yeah, switch it off. Thanks for that. I forget to switch it off.